recording. The volume is set properly. All right, here we go. Tms Pm begins in 3, 2, 1.
This is the morning stream, but it's not in the morning, it's at night. TMS PM.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS PM. It is the PM edition of the show happening in the AM on Sunday. That's right.
Confused.
It's a little confusing, Brian. It's my screw
So
up.
confused.
It's my problem. I had a thing come up. I had to do it. We had to bump it, but I wanted to make good on it. So we're here now. Thank you for all the weirdos that showed up this morning to hang out with us. We are immediately today joined by our good friend and pal, Dan the Tabletop Man. Dan, how's it going?
Yay!
Greetings, programs.
Hello. It's nice to see you
How are
and
you?
have you here. I'm good. Chat room, don't worry. You'll see his video in a second once I get my poop together. Yeah, it's good to have you here. I understand you had a nice late night at a Halloween party. Tell us how Dan parties at a Halloween party.
So it's funny because we rarely go to parties. You know, usually just more or less we just kind of hang at home and watch some TV on the weekends, like normal middle-aged married people who just want to get some extra sleep on the weekends. But we invited to a Halloween party. So the good thing was it's in the neighborhood, so we got to walk around the block, which is probably why we stayed out a little too late with a little too many Jello shots and plenty of good stuff. But so yeah, poor wife is still struggling today, and I'm you can tell I'm a little hungover today. But,
Little
it was
rusty,
fun.
little hoarse. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, Dan knows how to party. He knows how to bring it, and we like to follow up on the day after to see how he's doing.
And we went as Napoleon Dynamite and Deb from obviously from Napoleon Dynamite, and that was a blast.
You know what else Deb's from? Do you know what else she's from? Name something Scott's obsessed with. One of the things he's obsessed with.
Well, she was on that show with the Mormons with Bill Paxton on HBO.
Oh, that was a good show. I like that
Big
show.
Love.
Big Love.
Big Love.
Big Love.
That's not it, though.
Yes.
It's not it.
She was the little girl in Waterworld.
There you go. Nailed it. The Waterworld girl. She had the tattoo on her back, and that's how they found the dry land. See? Yeah. So, fun note, fun fact. Everyone in the chat's like, Mad Max. No, I know my movies.
Linda Majoriano or something like that? Majorino?
Labia Majora is her name.
Oh, gee. It's a little too early on a Sunday for that. That's a PM. That's a TMS PM thing.
Definitely. I'm definitely in the PM mode. Anyway.
She played random girl number 4 on the right in Mad Max Fury Road, which you didn't realize.
Oh, amazing. Wow, she was one of the lesser wives.
She was
so lesser that she barely was in any scenes.
Right,
That's
right.
true.
Cutting room floor wives.
All you saw was some of her milk in the truck. That was it. Oh, that's terrible, Scott. So Dan, it's good to have you here. We're gonna make this a little bit of a fun deal because Halloween's right around the corner. It's like a week away, not even that, or no, less than a week away. It's like 5 days.
Yeah,
away.
it's 4 days. 4 days away.
4 days. And because of how it's on a Thursday this year. That's right.
Yes.
As a result of it being on a Thursday, and not because of that, but because we got Halloween coming, and because Dan's here, we thought it'd be a cool opportunity for Dan to give us some ideas on some rad Halloween-like tabletop choices for the fam and that sort of stuff. Before we do that, though, okay, quick question for you in the medical field.
Excellent.
All right. As you know.
Well, you look, Scott. You look like I could tell you lost a little bit of weight.
I have lost a little bit of weight, slimming down. It's happening quickly, actually. It's weird. It's funny how you stop eating crappy sugar and soda drinks all day, and suddenly you're losing weight. It's weird.
Amazing, yeah.
But here's the question. What was I going to ask? Now I've forgotten the question. That threw me. Hold on.
Was it a labia majoris question?
No, it wasn't. Was it normal at my age to grow a vagina? What is that about? No, that's not it. I forgot what it was. Oh, I know what it was. Diet drinks. Okay, so if you want to just go down a rabbit hole on the internet, you can read all kinds of stuff that says the stuff that's in Diet Coke, the stuff that's in Diet Dr. Pepper, the stuff that any kind of those yes, right. or things like it are just giving you the Alzheimer's, are going to kill you early, you're going to die, it's awful, don't do it. I haven't drank any pop for 2 weeks of any sort, And prior to this, I don't do diet, so it was always like, throwback
Coke or nothing.
Coke or nothing, or I like Dr. Pepper. I like Mountain Dew. So I would have those. But now that I'm all water all the time, and I still am, I haven't even had like fruit juice. I haven't even drank like orange juice in the last 2 weeks because
and you don't want to overdo it with those either, because there's a lot of sugar in a lot of the fruit drink. You have to watch for the juices and stuff.
Right, juices can be even more sugary than the freaking drink you're getting. Maybe less corn syrup, but a lot of times they're corn syrup too. But anyway, point is, stopped all of that. Can the diet stuff? Is it okay once in a while? You're at a meal and you're like, yeah, I'm eating healthy. Thanks for the salad. Thanks for the lean chicken. I'd like to wash all this down with a Diet Coke. Am I just asking for trouble? Is that still bad?
Let's see. This is also, I think if you asked a lot of healthcare professionals, you might get a pretty good divide about the different unabsorbed, the synthetic sugars that are used in a lot of these diet drinks, stuff like that, and diet soda, like aspartame. You see it sweet and low and stuff like that. There's kind of a little bit of a divide. I am on the side of drink diet soda. It's still, no matter what, is going to be better for you. Generally, in a lot of the studies that are the really good studies that were done years and years ago, and even more recently, you have to drink or eat like a garbage truck's worth of aspartame at one sitting to have fear of cancer or things like that from it. So a Diet Coke is not going to hurt you. And remember, most of the stuff is non-absorbed and it'll go right through you. That's why, it still tastes sweet, but it also is not going to be absorbed. So you're not going to get it, it's not going to raise your blood sugar. There's a lot more into it. I'm simplifying the things a little bit there, but I would rather you drink that than drink full soda. Like the full sugar itself is going to be a lot worse for you, in my professional opinion, than the aspartame and stuff in a can of Diet Coke.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. And also, this isn't. I know people that are doing like 44 ounces twice a day because they're just going to the gas station, fill it up. You know the type, Brian.
You're talking about the diet sodas?
Yeah. That seems like maybe you shouldn't do that for your whole
don't
life.
do that.
That seems bad.
And I think it also depends on the type that you're doing, right? Because Diet Coke is aspartame.
Right.
A couple of these are, I don't know if NutraSweet is still a thing, but I usually go for the ones that do the Splenda or the Trivia style sugar replacements. So the Coke Zero sugar, and
is Coke Zero? Is Coke Zero? Okay, that's my big question. What's the difference between Coke Zero and Diet Coke? Because I like Coke Zero a lot more.
Aspartame versus Splenda basically is the sweetener.
Yeah. Is that the stuff that Walter White killed what's her name with?
No, that was Ryzen.
Oh no, but it was disguised. It was disguised as something, wasn't it?
It was disguised as a Splenda packet, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. No, it was disguised as a Truvia packet.
Was it Truvia?
I thought it was Truvia. Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. All right, anyway, it doesn't matter. But Coke Zero is not bad. I kind of like it.
Stevia. That's right. It was Stevia. Yes.
It's closer to a taste of regular Coke.
Okay.
So Ibit, Johnson, I don't know if you're a coffee guy. Ibit, what do you normally put in your coffee?
I do put a packet of Splenda in my coffee, and a little bit of non-dairy zero creamer, which is a 1 point Weight Watchers thing, as opposed to like true, half and half or anything like that. But the Weight Watchers quote unquote research, just the recommendations that they have on in their meetings on the site, was that Splenda is probably one of the better ones, but still you don't want to do it. You don't want to overdo it. Wendy was talking to us about how any of those fake sugars can mess up your gut, like give you just some grumbly guts and stuff like that. And
that was my next thing. I've used some of those in the past, and I can't take Splenda. It gives me the runs like you wouldn't believe.
Really? Wow.
And I don't put that much in my, some people just pour it in coffee.
Yeah.
I use like 2 packets of Sweet and Low, but like you said, you got to worry about your gut. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I worry about Splenda and stuff like that because, man, I just can't. So I usually stick to the Sweet and Low.
Okay. All right. No, this is good info. By the way, I looked it up. In the U.S., it's a different thing. Let's see. Over here, they use, for Coke Zero, that is, they use aspartame and something called asulfame potassium, and that's cool and everyone likes it. But years ago, looks like 1969, they banned the artificial sweetener called sodium cyclatamate because they said they believed it was a carcinogen. It's been used in the Coca-Cola versions, or Coke Zero versions, though, in Germany, Italy, Spain, Portugal, Venezuela, and Chile, because they don't have these these limitations. So apparently they're pushing that stuff everywhere else, but here it's the non-proven carcinogen type. I hate this stuff. I just want a decent drink. That's all I want.
And moderation still is going to be the key,
Yes.
right? I mean, do a diet drink, but don't have 2-3 diet drinks a day. Just do one.
Okay. I don't even want one.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
even
one to
want
two
a
is
day.
fine, but don't have 2 44 ounces.
No.
a
Oh,
day.
God, yeah.
Two
Right.
cans
Yes.
is fine, and you're not going to worry about that. And again, find what works for you, where the taste is good. And of course, water is actually, obviously the best. It's boring as hell, but it's still, every day I work on in the second half of the day, I always bring myself a big old thing of water. Like in the morning, I'll have a couple cups of coffee, and in the afternoon, I always go straight with the water. And then usually at home for dinner, I'll have like a Diet Coke.
All right.
I'll do I get this Louisiana decaffeinated tea. Got a bunch of it from Amazon really cheap, and so we actually just always keep a jug of decaffeinated iced tea in the fridge and do that, and that way you get a little bit of flavor. You can add a little bit of sweetener to it if you want, but just do lemon or something like that, and it's great.
Nice.
That's our go.
I like it. Dan, let's get to the real fun this week, though.
But I want to tell you one thing, Johnson.
Yeah.
So I tell you this all the time, and I want to remind you now.
Yeah.
Don't search for any of that crap on the internet.
No, I don't.
You'll get into a rabbit hole
right.
because if you start looking for aspartame and Splenda, man, you will be horrified. It'll make you crap. Just reading it will make you crap because it's some scary stuff. And then you gotta, there's a weirdo study here and like a 2-person study there. You just gotta. It's hard to sort through all that stuff.
Yeah.
So just be careful because it'll raise your anxiety and your agita. It'll go through the roof.
Right. I like a more measured approach to those sorts of things. I don't like those particular rabbit holes. I guess I trust the FDA, generally speaking. There's a lot of science behind the decisions they make. So that's where I'm at. I just think on a weekend, like on a Friday night, I'm out with the wife. We had a lovely meal. I wouldn't mind a diety kind of drink. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
You know,
go
just
for
once
it.
in a while. And I'm not, I don't want the sugar for the other reasons. Anyway, this has been very educational and insightful. Thank you very much for that. Now tell me what to play on Scary Day. What can we play? What's good this week?
So, talk about things like Fearsome Floors or Arkham Horror and things like that. There's been a lot of great horror or, Halloweenish games in the past. And I wouldn't say it's stagnant, but you kind of go back to the same ones every year. A new one came out this year, and I threw it in our Discord chat for you guys it's called Horrified. Mm-hmm. It's a new one by Prospero Hall. We talk about Prospero Hall a lot. They're the ones that did the Funkoverse game, and a lot of games that you see at Target now are almost all made by Prospero Hall. Villainous, which is the Disney game, was by Prospero Hall. The Keeping It Saxy, which was the Kenny G game. The Art of Chill, that's the Bob Ross game. All that stuff is Prospero Hall. They're a really good design studio, and they came up with Horrified. Now, Horrified is really cool because it has the old-timey monsters, like Dracula, Frankenstein's monster. I think they just call it Frankenstein to keep it easier in here, but let's don't at me.
Yeah.
We'll just
The
call it
doctor was Frankenstein. Yeah, come on now, people.
So, and the creature from the Black Lagoon, and Bride of Frankenstein. So they all are in this game, and it kind of plays a little bit like Pandemic, where it's a co-op game where everybody's just trying to get rid of a certain amount of monsters. You pick them randomly. You play from 2 to 4 players. You'll pick 2 to 4 monsters, depending on how many monsters you pick. Makes it easier or harder in the game. And you just the villagers will come out into the map, and then the monsters will be out on the map. And depending on which monsters you have, there's different things that you have to do to get rid of them. So Dracula, during the game, you have to smash some of his coffins, and then it makes him a little more vulnerable to be able to be defeated. Things like Creature from the Black Lagoon, you got to find out where his hideout is, and you've got to do these little mini games for each one of the monsters, depending on which monster. There's also the Mummy, where you have to do this little tanagram, kind of not tanagram, it's like a little puzzle thing that you got to do to figure out how to defeat him. Really cool. You have a certain amount of actions, usually 4 or 5 actions. You'll have a special power, so it just goes turn by turn. After everybody's turn, after one person's turn, you flip over a card. It tells you like other items that get put out onto the board and where the monsters will move. It's really it's just a lighter, really good family game. You can find us online or at Target for I think it's about $40. I'm gonna go pick one of these up today, I think.
Give me the name one more time. I searched wrong for it. What's the name of it?
Horrified.
Yep. How did I get that wrong? Oh, I searched for Horrifixed.
And like I
So
said,
just
it's
take the X
in
out.
the
Yeah.
I put a link to it on the Discord, and there's another thing if you check on it later, Johnson, or in both you guys, if you want to check the Discord there's a video that I put in there that really helps to learn the game. It's a really cool one because the video itself, there are two people that dressed up as pirates, and the whole video is very themed. It's only about 8 minutes, and it teaches you the game, and they're really funny. So I just stumbled upon their YouTube thing. So check that one out. I put it, like I said, I put it in Discord. It's Pirates something or other horrified review. You can find all those things on BGG, but really cool to learn the game. You learn the game in like 2 minutes, and you can get it played. It's very, like I said, very family friendly. You guys would both love this game.
Well, I'm noticing, so on the Board Game Geeks listing, they have a bunch of figures that are the team or the
Scooby Gang.
Scooby Gang. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is that someone?
Those are custom because I'm looking at the box right now. I think
Yeah.
somebody made those to.
Yeah, they look like they would fit well though as a.
Yeah.
And what's cool about
Yeah.
that is that the game is so easy to expand on and to update that you can make your own figures and characters, because all it is a picture of a character, how many actions they have, and then like one ability. So you can pretty much expand on this, and you can make your own minis. You can use minis for anything. So a lot of people on BGG, that's a big thing that BGG loves to do, is they love to tinker with the games, like put other villains in there or other heroes. And Prospero Hall is also big about putting expansions. There's like 3 or 4 expansions to Villainous. So I'm sure within either next year or within the next month or two, they'll probably put out an expansion to Horrified, because it's getting all sorts of buzz.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm looking. They're in Targets all over the place. Just check stock, and the Target by me has like 6. So awesome.
That's cool. It seems like a fun one. Maybe you have to pick that one up. I don't. It seems like it's more successful than the Universal film reboot they tried to do a couple years ago.
What, with Tom Cruise's The Mummy?
Yeah, with The Mummy with Tom Cruise in it.
Yes.
Didn't do so hot.
That was a hot mess, man. It was so much potential in it, and it was it entertained me a little bit, but then it was like, what the hell are they doing here?
Yeah, it's jacked up. And for that to be the lead for your reboot, I think they were doing it on his name alone. It's like, well, Tom Cruise is in this, so you should go see it. I think that was not enough, because it's interesting. Like Ibbott and I have talked about this before. The idea of doing something new in the Universal monster world is super interesting. Like, you could go places, but woo, that thing was a stinker.
Hot mess.
The Russell Crowe part was actually pretty cool too, though. So I mean, they
Which
had
one?
some potential there.
What was it? Who? What was?
The Russell
Crowe was
as
in it.
Dr. Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll,
was,
Mr. Hyde.
the original plan was that he was kind of going to be the Professor X of the series, and basically pull all of these different Universal Monsters characters together.
Yeah.
And boy, it just tanked.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That bums me out. All right,
Sometimes
anyway.
when they try to put those big twists in there, I think they did the whole twist at the end with Tom Cruise. I think that's what really sunk it.
Yeah. Did he run a lot? Did he do a lot of running?
He did run a lot. Yeah, tons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were gonna have. That's right. Johnny Depp was gonna be the Invisible Man in one of those movies. They had all this stuff lined up and just didn't make it happen.
Yeah. Side note, though, one really great thing that came out of that there was a video game that was made as a sort of a side thing during the release of that film, which normally movie time video games sometimes are crap, so you have to be careful. But this was like a 2D kind of 16-bit era looking thing that is basically a great big Metroid game, but set in that universe, and it's very good game. Like highly rated, that game. It's awesome. You can get it on Steam for cheap these days. It's like $10 or something. But
That's
I think it was called Curse of the Mummy or something. And the Tom Cruise's likeness is nowhere in this thing, but the mummy lady is. She's about the only real tie-in. Otherwise, it just feels like a brand new property. Like it has nothing to do with the film, but it's very, very good.
Huh.
Anyway, Dan, what else you got this week? Anything else cool to play?
Well, there's a couple of new releases as far as announcements because Spiel is going on out in Essen, Germany, where they've got a bunch of that's pretty much the largest. I think they had 200,000 attendees, or it might be Turnstile, more than likely not unique attendees. But whenever you see pictures of Essen, it makes Gen Con look like a walk in a park. But it's the biggest one in the world. They had a couple of announcements for digital games. Asmodee Digital, because I'm a huge fan. You're talking about Steam, Johnson, where they've announced 2 big games for Steam. Blood Rage is going to be coming out next year for Steam. Now, Blood Rage is it's a little more in depth, and it's just one of these games where it's a kitchen sink game where all sorts of crap's going on. So Blood Rage is kind of a Viking theme. It's by Eric Lang and Adrian Smith. Now you've got different clans, and you're drafting cards, and you're playing them, and they're so each card can be anywhere from like very balanced to crazy overpowered. So it's just one of these games that the more you play it, just you see all sorts of different things, but there's no real balance. But it's just kind of one of those real fun, Ameritrash games where you're just throwing miniatures all over the place. So it's kind of fun. It would be a decent one to put on digital because you can play it so fast. It'll be solo and up to 4 players. You'll be able to play it multiplayer online. It's going to take only about an hour to play. So this one should be a decent one.
How far off is that? Do we know when that's coming out? They give a date?
It's going to be, they just announced it. Some of these development houses work pretty quick, especially with it being kind of a straight port a lot of times to Steam.
Yeah.
This one, I don't think they're going to add a whole lot but there's a bunch of expansions already that CMON has. So I would say probably by mid-year, you might see this one. The other one they announced, I think maybe a little further out, but they're doing a lot more to it. The Game of Thrones, the board game, the digital edition, also going to be on Steam. Now, this game itself is really cool, but it's one of those kind of, once or twice a year because it's just so sprawling and everybody's playing a different house. And it's really in depth, but really kind of a fun, but you're going to be playing this game for 4 or 5 hours.
This is like a clue thing, or not clue, Risk, where you've got to basically, all right, 10 o'clock, let's go ahead.
No. Brian said gahoo. Hold on. That's weird. Can everyone hear me? Hold on. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. Why did that get lost? Hello? Testing?
Okay,
Okay, it's coming back now.
That's everybody else.
Oh, you know what it was? All right, hold on.
There we go.
Hold on. We're moving to the US Central.
Okay.
Something went fruity on the West server. Okay, hold on. I got to back this up to where you cut off.
All right, 10 o'clock, let's go ahead.
All right, we're back. Sorry, technical glitch. Brian, you were saying something.
I was just saying, it seems like a game like Risk, where you basically you play the game over the course of several days because you can't finish it in one night.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So this thing, is this the one that came out in 2011? Is this the one, or is this second? What is this? Oh no.
No, this one was a little more recent than that.
Okay. The card game? Is it the Game of Thrones card game?
No, it's a big time. It's the board game. So actually, it might be
2003.
I figured it was a little. This one does say 2011, but I don't think it's that particular one.
Because there's one.
No, see, the one that's in 11 is the card game that they had. This is more of the sprawling board game. Not sure when it came up, but it's within the last few years because they took probably 3 or 4 years now, but they've had a lot of expansions where they've added a lot of other kind of armies to it. A lot of different houses and little things that they can do.
Sure. Actually, if this date's right, I'm showing Game of Thrones First Edition 2003. How can that be?
Oh, wow.
Well, Fantasy Flight put out a card game that was based on the books themselves before the movies even came out.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this is probably one of those where it precedes the TV stuff.
Yeah, so they had the first edition that was out in 2003, and then they started getting more of the license for the TV versions and everything, so they kind of put that out as well.
Right.
But yeah, this is going to be a little easier to play than those because it'll play probably in about an hour to an hour and a half because with the computer, with all the fights and stuff like that, when it resolves all that, it's gonna be a lot easier than playing cards and rolling dice and arguing in person. But you kind of lose that little bit of backstabbiness when I can be like talking to Ibn and be like, hey, if you hold Johnson off on my western front, I won't attack you this turn. So then Johnson goes and Ibn holds him off, and in the very next turn I'm like, screw you, Ibit. I'm coming after you.
just like the books, just like the movie. Perfect.
You know what I love about this is a side note. One of the things I love about Dan is not since high school, when I played basketball, I just was playing basketball. Does someone call me by my last name all the time? And Dan's like the only guy I know that calls me Johnson, calls you Ibit, calls Brian Dunaway. I love it, dude. Your last name thing is cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, you should be a coach.
Yeah, it's probably why. Probably from my coachism and my, I'm a sports dude, bro. At heart. So since I grew up playing, baseball and and hockey my whole life. That's pretty much where you get everything. Because you know, if we'd have Johnson on the ice, be going, "Come on, Johnny, get down the ice."
Yeah, you would. I can totally see it. By the way, did you get those? Did those gloves show up? They should have gotten there by now.
No, not yet.
Oh.
I'll have to look today, but I didn't see them yesterday. But
All
yeah, I
right.
appreciate you sending those out. I can't wait to check them out because
Yeah, it's a
I
long.
never have too many gloves.
It's a long story. We ended up with some hockey gloves that the people who owned the house before us ordered, but then we got them, and they're like $149 gloves. We're like,
Oh,
whoa,
wow.
these are expensive. Do you want us to send these to you, forward them to you? And they said, we already got another pair because they were late, and so just keep them. And we're like, okay.
Like, what are we gonna do with them? Okay, terrific. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't play hockey, but then I thought, wait, Dan's kid is like all up in the hockey right now. So
Perfect.
So I sent it to Dan. Anyway,
I'll
let
have
me
to look because they may fit me better. Because DJ's a goalie, but I can probably use those because I don't know if you're aware of this. Your hands sweat a lot, and when you play things like hockey, you know, breaks down the palms of like the first things to go on hockey gloves, not necessarily the other parts. So
Oh yeah.
good palms. We
One
always
of
can
my
use
best
those.
my best friends in high school, Bill, that dude stunk like the monster that he was constantly because hockey stuff smells so
Just
bad.
you sweat like crazy. Yeah.
Oh.
The stink bag. I mean, you know, Bill talks about that. I think hockey's probably the biggest source of the stink bag.
Oh yeah, and it's harder to wash that equipment. And when I drive, so Wednesday and Thursday we have hockey practice, and I drive 2 or 3, you know, my son and either 1 or 2 other kids home into practice. Man, when I'm driving home, it is disgusting, the smell in there. I mean, I'm kind of used to it my whole life, but when poor Janice has to drive the boys home, she's like, I had to get out of that car so fast because just the reek of them after practice from them, and of course they're 12. Now 12-year-old boys, they stink anyway.
Yeah.
So
That's
after hockey, it's
the
even
beginning
worse.
of stink. That's when stink really starts to happen for those kids. Oof.
Yeah, and you're trying to be like, hey, you see that stick over there? Just rub that under your armpits every now and then, you know, more than once a year,
Yeah.
and it'll be.
I'd
be all right.
I'd go to Bill's house and the couch smelled like it. The house had a smell. It was awful. Oh my gosh. Hockey players.
Luckily, we air out his gear in the garage, so the garage has a weird mix of grass clippings and stench from hockey equipment. So it keeps it at bay a little bit.
Yeah.
That's foul. All right, excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to both of those releases on Steam because I love board game adaptations. Still, one of my favorites is that Tales of Candledeep thing they did. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I still play that all the time. Although those jerks never did make cross save Mac to PC possible. Usually that's just built in, but for whatever reason on Steam you can't use the same saves on the cloud. Drives me nuts.
Did you re-download Gloomhaven since the big update? That
No,
was,
I
like
need to.
A week or 2 ago.
I need to. I hear it's much more Gloomhaven now than it ever has been. Is that true?
Well, it's the tutorial is what you would really like because it really explains the game a little better. The walkthrough tutorial, it takes a little while, but it really teaches you the game and how to use the cards. And because before that, I didn't get a chance to watch your first stream, but I'm sure you must have been lost as to what in the hell to do because the game is a little complex. But once you learn it, and it doesn't take that long. Hey, but I think you've played it before. I think you'd love the online implementation
Yeah.
because you played the tabletop game, right?
Did you play it a bit?
Oh, I thought you were asking Scott. Yes.
No.
I
No,
played
no.
it.
Yeah, you played it, so-
I'm looking at it right here, but I forgot about you were talking about the Steam version 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I
Probably.
never did go and download it, and I should.
Yeah, the tabletop version, my brother-in-law and his kid and a bunch of their friends play it all the time, and they love it. So it's definitely a thing I want to play, and Steam reviews are kind of off the charts, loving it. People love it
Wow.
on there, so
That's
Oh,
cool.
just need to get
There was
to
another
it.
huge announcement for Gloomhaven too.
Oh, what's that?
Because this is going to be another tangent for you. Sorry. So they
Tangent.
just
That's
announced like a couple weeks ago. Isaac announced that there's going to be next year. They're putting out kind of a smaller Gloomhaven, but it's going to be about $40, and he's trying to get into Target. So it's going to be for all the people that don't necessarily want this big ass box that takes you an hour just to set up. So this is kind of more trying to get the lay person or the average gamer into it, so that they can just pick it up and go. There's going to be 3 new characters in there, so there's going to be enough in there for the established Gloomhaven player because there's going to be some new scenarios and new characters that you can do. But it's just designed so that you can just pick it up and play just a family of 4 or however. Now, instead of having all the different map tiles and everything, which takes up, how much, there's so many in that big box. This is going to be they're going to use the storybook type of way to play. Like Above and Below has this thing where it's basically just a book and it has like a little map in there. They'll probably have some extra tiles that you'll have to use to go onto the board, just to add on a little bit as you're playing.
Right,
but
sure.
you'll flip a page. Each page will be like a scenario. And then you'll use, and it'll obviously have some cards and stuff for your characters and for some monsters, but they're really trying to bring it to the to the average person, because it takes a special type of time and effort to play Gloomhaven. No, don't get me wrong, my favorite game of all time, but there's a little bit to it.
Whoa! I never heard you say that. Gloomhaven is your favorite all-time board game.
Yeah. So, as we all know, you guys, I mean, D&D is great. I love D&D, but I don't have any time for D&D. Yeah. And a lot of the other games that you can play on tabletop, which are kind of like D&D, are usually one versus many. And I'd rather not have that adversarial one versus many in a tabletop game like Descent often does. But the games that can implement it, like Gloomhaven, is all co-op. Nobody runs the game. The game kind of runs itself. So it really makes you feel like you're playing D&D, but in a tabletop version. So it's got everything I've ever wanted in a game is what Gloomhaven is.
That's great. I mean, just somebody who's as versed as you are, I can see on your shelves behind you, there's a trillion games, and you've got a favorite that I had no idea this was your favorite. That's super exciting.
That is crazy. That's
now
cool.
I'm just going to go download it. I'm going to play this again.
So this is basically like the Settlers of Catan. What was there was the easy, quote unquote, easy version, family or junior or something like that.
I think there's like Kids of Catan or I'm trying to. There's so many versions of Catan.
That's right. It's something of Catan. That's right. Yes.
They should call this Gloomhaven Junior. Why not?
He's trying to. They don't have a subtitle yet, but they're trying to come up with like a good way to express that it's more Gloomhaven, yet it's still approachable Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven.
So and they're really trying to get that $40 to $50 price point.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. This game, by the way, the Steam implementation of the full game is only $24 currently. It's still in early access. I don't know what their out of early access plans are, but
it's going to be like another year. So what their whole roadmap is. So the latest update, not only did it put the tutorial in there, it put the Tinkerer in there. So Ibit, I don't know if you ever played the Tinkerer. No. It's another one of the base classes. I think they're up to 5 of the base classes right now in the game, in the online game. So right now they're adding more road events and more things. It's kind of like there's no real scenarios yet. Like you're playing like a 2 to 3 fight. Little mini scenarios in the digital version. So they've got a roadmap where like the next 3 months they're working on this and that. So hopefully by next summer they might have more of the campaign. So that's their kind of end game, is to get the campaign in there, and then also to add some other digital only campaign bits to it. So it's right now it's not gonna. It'll feel a little. I mean, obviously it'll feel like Gloomhaven, but it'll just feel like a just kind of sit down and play 3 fights. Gloomhaven. Then you can upgrade they've added more of the cards for each one of the characters, kind of the more levels that you can get, and more the different road events and the city events, which is really cool about Gloomhaven. They've got a lot of those things in there. So they're just adding more and more, and it's a real fun thing to just pick up and go for an hour and then just throw it back down there. But it's cool. I think it's really worth it.
All right, well, I'm gonna get it. Dan, I guess that's it. I hope you're having a good Halloween season. You do anything fun with the kids or anything? You're gonna do anything cool?
No, well, we're doing something cool, but it has nothing to do with Halloween. So Thursday we fly to Chicago. This is the annual CCM Worldwide Invitational for hockey. So our team is going to be up there playing. Last year we ended up winning that tournament. This year we're going up there and hoping to win the tournament. But it starts on Thursday. We'll be back on Sunday. So we'll be in the air basically during Halloween. And I kind of feel bad for the kids. We might maybe do something at the hotel or something. But
it's just a big bag of candy and they'll be fine.
Yeah. And it'll be all right.
Maybe the hotel.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Some hotels do like a thing where you go around to the pool lady and she'll give you some candy. You go to the front desk, they give you some stuff. You might be all right.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll
some places even do like like a zoo thing or something like that. See if there's a zoo in the the area that you're going. Maybe do trick or treat at the zoo.
The Chicago Zoo.
Chicago Zoo. I assume they must have a nice zoo in Chicago.
Right? Wouldn't they? You'd think they would.
I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Windy City. They don't call it that for nothing. That makes no sense. All right.
It's all the gas that they have up there from the artificial sugars.
That's right.
So that's why it's windy.
That's why it's windy.
It accumulates.
Splendid gas.
It's going to destroy us all. Dan, the tabletop man. Always good to hear from you, dude. Have a safe trip there. I hope your team wins, and we'll catch you on the next time we do this, man.
You got it, buddy. You guys have a great week.
See you later.
You too.
Oh, Geek Jock Blog on Twitter. The Geek All Stars podcast. All that stuff. Brian, that's it for today's show. Nice and short.
Ooh, nice.
I have a thing to go to, so I'm gonna.
That's totally fine. Yeah, people, make sure you tune in tomorrow, and I'll talk all about the coffin races that I went to, and I'll tell you something that I don't remember from the movie Labyrinth. I'll talk about that tomorrow as well.
What? Now I'm really curious. All right. That coffin thing looked like a riot, so I'm very excited.
Oh my god, it was a blast. Yeah.
Very excited to see how that goes.
About that.
Very, very cool. All right, it is time for us to take our leave. Before we do, just a reminder, you get this extra content a week because of Patreon and you guys supporting us there, patreon.com/TMS. For everything else you're looking for, go to frogpants.com/TMS. And it's got everything, way to submit songs, addresses for stuff you can send if you're like, hey, I want them to test this weird squid meat. Okay, cool. Send it to these addresses.
Nope.
Unless you,
I accidentally ordered squid yesterday at the sushi place, and because eel is right underneath it, and I love eel.
Yeah.
So I said 2 of those, and then they bring squid. And I'm like, I don't think I ordered this, and then she brought back the thing with my 2 little tick marks next to it, squid, and says, "No, you ordered it. Do you want eel instead?" I'm like, please.
Oh, you
so I tried
out
one,
the wrong
and
thing.
I was not happy with it.
You don't like squid?
Did not enjoy. I like calamari. I like cooked squid a lot.
Yeah.
But
raw
squid, not so much.
Yeah, it's not good. I like dried squid. I like.
Oh yeah, I remember
stuff.
you liking that one.
Oh,
Somebody sent us that.
I could eat.
Give you all mine. You can have all mine, Scott.
Send it on. Put it in the mail. Let's do it. Anyway, so there's that, and then that'll be fun. That is tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new show, so check us out tomorrow at our normal time. Before we go, though, we're gonna play a song. Brian's got one. What do you have?
That's right. Paul Cavanaugh wrote in and said, "This weekend I turned 60. Holy crap!"
Wow.
As a present to myself, I'm taking my wife to see a Nick Lowe solo acoustic concert. 2nd row, dead center seats. Super envious. To celebrate my birthday, please pick a Nick Lowe cover that you enjoy or any other cover that you feel appropriate for the occasion. My thanks to you, Scott, you young whippersnappers. Paul. Signed, Paul.
Nice, Paul.
Well, thank you, Paul. Dude, Nick Lowe is one of my favorite artists, so you getting to see him perform a solo acoustic show, I am crazy envious about that. So a lot of people maybe don't know this, but the Elvis Costello song "What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding" was originally by Nick Lowe and his first band Brinsley Schwartz. I'm not going to play a cover of that, but when you're talking Nick Lowe, you're like, I don't know if I know any Nick Lowe songs. Oh, you know a lot of Nick Lowe songs, and you for sure know this one. This is another song that came out of that Brinsley Schwartz era. It is a song called "Cruel to Be Kind," covered here by the lovely voiced Lisa Mitchell from her EP entitled "When They Play That Song." Here's Lisa Mitchell and "Cruel to Be Kind."
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
Wow.
Wow. I picked that at random. I didn't know what it was going to be.
It's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad.